Hello, and in this video we're going to talk about the Math 117 Project 1. In particular, we're going to talk about questions number 4 and 5, which are related to constructing frequency distribution tables and constructing histograms. So we're going to talk about both those questions in this video. You have to do this for both the diseased and healthy smear. So in this video I'll do it for the diseased smear, and I'll repeat it and do it in the second video for the healthy blood smear. This data that I have here is different than the data that is in your project. However, the process to obtain the answers are going to be exactly the same. Okay, so questions 4 and 5 are the first two questions that use Excel. Questions 1 and 3 are you can answer them using your book or class notes. Okay, so questions 4 and 5 are when you have to start using Excel. First, before you get started, you need to download the plugin for data analysis in Excel. So to do that, go to the File tab, go to Options, go to Add-ins, press on the Analysis Toolpack, and press Go. Make sure the Analysis Toolpack is checked, and press OK. Okay, now the Data Analysis Toolpack should be under the Data tab, should have the data analysis right there. If this doesn't work for your computer at home, you may have to use the computer in the library, or there's a computer lab in MP 249, the Math Pavilion, second floor, 249. Okay, so now we have that downloaded, we can get started. Question 4 asks us to construct frequency distribution tables, so we'll get started with that. First thing for doing the frequency distribution table is to find the class width or the bin width. Okay, here we call it classes. Classes and bins are the same thing, right? So I'm going to call them bins over here, but 6 classes, 6 bins, that's exactly the same thing. Okay, so we need to find the bin width. So in order to do that, first you have to find the range and then divide that by the number of bins. So to find the range, we'll need the max and we'll need the min. Okay, so there's a function in Excel called min. Right, so I'll press on the first data point. So all this data analysis is going to be for the diseased blood smear. Like I said, in the next video I'll do the healthy blood smear, but it'll be exactly the same. So I'm going to click on that 4.5. I'll press Shift, Control, down. That will highlight all the data. Okay. If I don't feel like doing that, Shift Control down. I could also just like scroll with my mouse. Okay. Either way, just make sure all the data is highlighted and press Enter. That said min. This is supposed to be for the max, so let's change that function to max. Okay. So max. Okay. And now let's do min. Okay, so we have the min and the max. To find the range, you will have the max. You'll subtract out the min. Alright, then we'll need the bin width. The bin width, remember, is the range divided by the number of classes or the number of bins. In this case, it's 6. That's what's told that you should do here in the project. Okay, so that's told to do. Alright, remember we always round the bin width up. So you round this 0.4 or 0.5. I'll go ahead and we'll play around with different choices of that. And now we need to figure out the bin lower limits and then the bin upper limits. Okay, in order to resize that cell so I can see them both, I'm going to press there and there. So now the cells are the right widths. Okay, so bin lower limit and bin upper limit. I'm going to go ahead and make those bold by pressing Control B. Alright, Excel, so we should start with the lower limits. Okay, so the lower limit will be the min, right? Lower limit of the first bin is going to be the min. And then from there, let's see, I could do this plus 0.4. Say we're going to make the bin width 0.4. So like I said, you can make it 0.4 or 0.5. Let's scroll this down. Number of bins that I want are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 6 bins, so I'm going to scroll it down till I get to 6. So why did I scroll it down? Well, so this is the previous plus 0.4. So when I scroll it down, I just grab that and I just kind of scrolled it down like that. And so what that does is it repeats the same equation. So it's always the previous plus 0.4 every time. Alright, then to find the bin upper limits, this is going to be, let's see, so it's going to be 1 digit right before the next bin, right? So this one would be 4.8, and this one would be 4.5. This one would be 5.6, right? I'm just going 1 digit below to find the upper limits. This one would be 5.6. This one would be 6.4, and the difference between all of these has been 0.3, right? So this last one would be 6.8. Okay. One thing I want to point out here is that we expect there to be data in each of these bins, right? Or at very least, we expect there to be data on the first and the last bin, because the min is 4.5, so we know there's at least one data point that's in this one, and the max is 6.5, so there's at least one data point in this bin. If either the first or the last bin did not have a data point in it, then there would be no point of having that bin, so it would be invalid. So here, let me show what I mean. So I chose the let me start at the min here. Okay, I chose it to be 0.4, the bin width to be 0.4. So say I did 0.5. I would scroll it down like this. And now I were to redo my upper limits, 5.4, 6 or 5.9, 6.4, 6.9, and then in each of these there's been a 0.4 difference, so this would be 7.4. Okay, so in the first here we have at least one data point, so that's in there because the min is 4.5. But in this one, we don't expect there to be any data point that's going to be in here because the max is 6.5. Okay, so whether or not we had this here or not, it wouldn't matter because there's no data in this one. Okay, so this is basically a table that only has 5 classes or 5 bins. But the question asked for you to have 6 bins or 6 classes. So because this last class is empty, it's basically it's not even there. So this would not work. Okay. So when you round up, there's always that possibility of that sort of thing happening. So make sure you round up, but not round up too much where you end up in that situation. So rounding up to 0.4 was good, but rounding up to 0.5 would not be as good. Okay, so once we have these, then we're ready to go ahead and do our data analysis. So I'm going to go over here to data analysis, press histogram. Okay, it's all in alphabetical order, so find histogram. Press on that, say OK. Okay, if you have anything in there already, delete it. Okay, so the input range. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the disease blood smear. So I'm going to highlight all that. So the way I did that is I pressed the first one, I pressed Shift, Control, and the down arrow. Okay, again, you could also just do it by pressing down like this, using your mouse. So the bin range. Now, the bin range, be very careful. The bin range is asking for the upper limits. Okay, so press on those. Don't do the lower limits. Bin range is upper limits. Okay, then output range. Output range, this is asking you where you want to put your output. So just pick somewhere that's empty and clear. So I'll click here. And then make sure you choose for your output that you want the chart output. Okay, so chart output. Press OK. Alright, so here we go. Here's our our frequency distribution for the disease blood smear. So I'm going to title this frequency distribution for disease blood smear. Alright, so I need to redo these bins. Instead of being 4.8, I want to say 4.5 through 4.8. Okay? So I'm going to relabel them according to their upper and lower limits. 4.9 through 5. Ooh, that should be 5.2. This one should be 5.2, not 5. So actually, that does not automatically update this. So I need to delete this. Let's see, delete. Delete it all. Okay, I'm going to redo it because that number was messed up. So let me just double check all the other numbers are okay. Okay, so it looks good. So let's do it again. Data analysis, histogram. Okay, so it still has the same data being highlighted, and it still has the same bin range. Okay, and it still has everything else being all the same. So I just say, okay, redoes the same histogram. Alright, so now we relabel this 4.5 through 4.8, 4.9 through 5.2, 5.3 through 5.6, 4.7 through 6, 6.1 through 6.4, and 6.5 through 6.8. Alright, there's more. It has no frequency in it, so we can go ahead and delete it. Okay, and then again, let's label this as frequency distribution for disease blood smear. Alright, now let's go over, now this is all set. If I bold this, this is all set. I can actually just Control C, right? So I highlight it and then press Control C, that copies it. And then, you know, whatever Word file I'm working in to write my answers, I could just paste it in there and just kind of rearrange it so it looks a little nicer than this. Maybe move this over, okay? Something like this. Okay, so then you can put this into Word and you're ready to go. That's your answer for the disease blood smear. Do the same thing for the healthy blood smear. I'll go ahead and delete that, but that's something we can do. Alright, then the histogram. We need to clean this up, make this look a little nicer. First thing, bin. Oh, didn't mean to press that. So, bin, what is this? This is the cell width. So I should call it as such, cell widths. Okay, and then let's also call it its unit. Millimeter times 10 to the negative 2. Okay, this frequency is not needed. We know that's frequency over there, so we can delete that. Also, histograms, their bars should touch each other. So when I go to Format or Layout, actually, sorry, it's Design. So Chart Tools and then Design. Then you press Chart Layouts. So I just press this little button here, down, and then choose the layout that looks like they're all together. Okay, so now these bars, they look good, except they're all together, except we can make them look a little better. If I go to Format, I can change their outline to make them have some sort of outline, so now we can see lines between them. Change the bar color, say if you want the diseased one to look maybe red, and the healthy one to look blue, something like that to keep it straight. Make sure you definitely want to change the title, so histogram for diseased cell or blood smears. Blood smear, okay? So keep it straight about what's going on here. Make it a little bigger, okay? And then once you have that, you're ready to just, you know, press on it and then press Control C, and then that'll be one of your answers for number 5. So press Control V, and then it copies it or pastes it into the Word document. So Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Alright. So that completes how to do this for the disease blood smear. I'm going to repeat it for the healthy blood smear. I'm going to do a little faster in the next video, so that way if you just want to see it again, you can look there. But you'll need to do it both for the disease and for the healthy.